In the last video, we talked about the three sins of humanity. There's a sin in the garden. Adam and Eve defy God directly and seize the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Cain kills his brother Abel. There's a brother-brother conflict that leads to fratricide. That defiles the land. And then the sons of God intermarry with the daughters of men. That is, the faithful line of Seth intermarry with the unfaithful line of Cain. And that intermarriage fills the world with corruption and evil that brings a flood. The descendants of Noah, this new Adam, the descendants of Noah also fall. And the fall story of the descendants of Noah takes place on the plains of Shinar at the Tower of Babel. Instead of a series of three falls, as we have in the early chapters of Genesis, we have one massive fall of humanity where the descendants of Ham join with the descendants of Shem, and they attempt a rebellious city and to build a tower and a tower that's going to reach to heaven, a sanctuary that's going to reach to heaven, connecting up to heaven from earth, and then a city that's built in rebellion against God. God, of course, brings judgment on Babel, scatters the people of Babel, and confuses their languages. And it's like another flood. And God does, God judges the world as he did in the flood, with this huge difference. In the flood, he decreated the entire world. It was turned back into watery void, with Noah and his family preserved. After the destruction of Babel and after the judgment of Babel, God doesn't destroy the entire world. Rather, he begins the process that's going to take up the rest of the Bible, the process of renewing humanity and renewing the world from within. That's what the call of Abraham is all about, the call of Abram. Abram is called in the immediate aftermath of the Tower of Babel, and Abram is going to be the solution to Babel. Through Abram's seed, all the nations of the earth, the scattered nations of the earth, the confused nations of the earth that come out of Babel, all those nations are going to be blessed through Abram's seed. And we already have that happening in the book of Genesis. We don't have to wait till the New Testament for that to begin happening. And in fact, the bulk of Genesis, from Genesis chapter 12 to Genesis chapter 50, which is the story of the three major patriarchs, that's a story of the beginning of the restoration of humanity. And the restoration of humanity follows the order of the falls of humanity. Adam fell in the garden with regard to worship. Cain fell in the land, killing his brother. The sons of God sinned by intermarrying with the ungodly, and that led to the flood. Abram, Jacob, and Joseph, those three patriarchs take up the bulk of the rest of the book of Genesis, and those three patriarchs reverse in order the three falls early in the book of Genesis. Abram is like a new Adam who goes around the land and establishes altars and worships God faithfully and is patient. He does seize forbidden fruit. He tries to jump the gun by having a son with Hagar, but eventually he comes to patiently waiting for the Lord to fulfill his promise. Abram is a new Adam, a patient Adam who fulfills the calling of Adam, patiently waiting in the garden and guarding. Jacob's story is the story of the brother-brother conflict. Jacob is like a new Abel. He faces a murderous older brother, Esau, who wants to kill him because Jacob has wrestled away the birthright and the blessing from Esau, the birthright and blessing that God had promised to Jacob. Jacob has wrestled those away from Esau, and Esau wants to kill him. But Jacob is a wily Abel, an Abel who survives his brother's threats, who suffers himself in exile with Laban, and then eventually returns to his brother, and there's a reconciliation between the two brothers. It's like Abel and Cain being reconciled. That's the overall story, that's the overall plot of the story of Jacob. Joseph doesn't stay in the land. He does have conflict with his brothers, but he goes out of the land and he also deals with Gentiles. He goes out into Egypt, of course. But he is a faithful son of God. He's not like the sons of God early in Genesis who intermarries. He resists the seduction of Potiphar's wife and he stays faithful. And instead of filling the world with corruption, he actually fulfills the promise of Abraham. And what's happening at the end of the book of Genesis is that Joseph, a descendant of Abraham, is bringing blessing to the nations by ensuring that Egypt has food that's going to feed the sons of Israel, but also is going to feed all the other nations. So within the book of Genesis, we have the formation of the world, the corruption and fall of the world, the ruin of the world, but also the beginning of the new creation, the recreation of the world through the patriarchs.